So what's your favorite project you put up?
My favorite, well, I guess I can separate it into two parts. My favorite poem would be like Cinderella Speaks Out, because that poem is kind of got a double meaning to it, but it was inspired by Teresa Davis. She had like a whole series of like poetry from like Red Riding Hood and poetry from the Jack and the Beanstalk and all that. It's just like you put your perspective in there. I was like, well, I'm gonna do the Cinderella poem because people think I'm LadyVeeDaPoet, I'm all prim and proper or whatever, but in that poem is saying the real deep down thoughts of of Cinderella. And if Cinderella was laying on the therapist's couch, what would she say to the therapist? So that was kind of like my twist on the Cinderella Speaks Out poem. But it's not really promoted the way that I wanted to, but my last book that I didn't show y'all is Still Fabulous: Reclaiming Your Inner Goddess After a Breakup. And it took a long time to write that because I'm like, I don't want to be the angry black female. I don't want to be blasting out, my ex-boyfriends or nothing like that. But I want to infuse, case studies of my exes, how I got over that situation, put my poetry into it, and it was the first time I ever did like kind of a self-help guide / poetry book.
That's dope.
So I kind of, pat myself on the back for that. And I was like, well, I've been doing poetry collections so far, just poetry, but now I'm going to, have case studies of ex-boyfriends and how I got over the situation, and let me see if I can help other people through this book or whatnot. So it was kind of like a thumbs up with I can do more than just a poetry book. What else can I do with this poetry other than just here's 50 poems, here, read my poetry.
That's dope. You're still trying to help people like your sister, huh?
The shining spot at the end of that, I got married to a wonderful man that, helped me throughout all the past, I guess you call them obstacles and horror stories or whatever. And at the end, it's just like, maybe I reminded myself that I am this inner goddess and I'm worthy of the love that, Mr. CEO Allan Poe was just there at the end with a wonderful wedding ring to provide.
Allan, like, yeah, you know how queens do, baby.
As he gets his Mac on, okay.
You're gonna be leaving soon.
You better see if it's 2 o'clock. Your groceries. But anyway.
That's dope.
I'm really proud of that because it expanded my. I can write poetry books, but I can do this as well, and let's see where else this poetry can take us.
It do. That book does well. When she's up there and she's holding up the collection. It's poetry, but this is the help guy.
The women are like, oh, really?
And I stand there like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm the example in it. We messed up. Sorry that you wrote a book, but it was dope. I mean, a lot of people pick it up.
You should have just called it Black Men Ain't Shit. Everybody buy that.
Right.
All black. You put that black women gonna buy that. I'm just playing. To my black women, I'm playing. Okay. I'm black men. I'm playing.
Think about like what was her name that went off and wrote the book about the hip hop people that she.
Karine Steffens.
So something like that. Yeah, you think about the women that have profited off of their hardship with men or whatever. It's like I don't want to be the angry black female like like you said the Men Ain't Shit book or whatever because we already have those. So it's kind of like what are you going to do to say that hey you did go through this but you're still a goddess. What are you going to do to be like the the diva that you really are?
I think for me analyzing just black people in general, I think a lot of times black men and black women, I think in relationships people just. It's like for me analyzing this shit a lot. I've been analyzing this shit a lot. Right?
Thinking, analyzing.
So, no. Imagination overload.
There you go.
That title's gone.
That title was hard, bro.
That title's gone.
The thing is, I realize it's like, if your parents raise you to be a loving, and they teach you to love and teach you to live, 9 times out of 10, when you meet another person that has that, y'all can love, live, and thrive. But if you have bad parents or dysfunctional parents or grandparents or uncles or fucking aunts or whatever the case might be, 9 times out of 10, you gonna have some dysfunction in you that you need to fix. And it's, but
I agree.
you gotta take ownership of that shit and say, all right, I'm a fucked up individual.
Yeah.
What can I do to fix that? And a lot of times,
It don't get fixed.
people don't want to do that. It is hard work. It's hard work to self-analyze yourself and say, all right, what do I need to fix within me about me? Most people are not willing to do that.
I mean, my parents, they you know, stuck together throughout everything. You know, there was times when my daddy just said, I want to leave. You know, there was times where he could have just left or whatever, but they stuck together till my daddy passed away. And in my mind, I'm just like, you know, I know that when I get married, I have the example of my mama worked it out.
Yeah.
My daddy worked it out.
Yeah.
And if we have an argument, in my opinion, I'm like, hey, my example, we're going to work this out. You're not leaving. We're working it out.
Yeah.
So it really makes a big difference between, you know, my daddy is home teaching me, or my daddy, I don't know who my daddy is, or, you know, that type of household environment makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I also believe that when you marry, see, the thing is, a lot of time with people, most people, right? Everything I say is some people or most people.
Okay.
There's nothing hands down people.
blanket.
Because I could always, the devil advocate be in the comments like, well, my mother, I'm not talking
That
about
one
you,
person.
right?
Yeah.
So what I'll say is, off of what you just said, damn, what was I ready to say?
I mean, I'm agreeing with your last statement.
No, but what did you just say just now? Because I want to, is a point I want to make.
I'll say the environment that you're in, it frames the way that you treat your relationship. Is like if you see, like you just said, your dysfunction, that's all you're raised up to see, then your marriage or your...
I know what I want to say.
Okay.
This is what I want to say. I came up with this thought process, I think either this morning or yesterday, all right? Me and my wife, we've been together 20 years next year, right?
All right. Congrats.
And thank you, I appreciate it. But the thing about marriage, like when you boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yeah.
somebody do some shit, I'm like, fuck you, I'm out.
You can leave.
I'm out.
Right.
Pew.
But when you in a marriage, right? I say this is my quote that I'm gonna put up soon, right? Marriage is two people eating shit until they get over their shit and deal with their shit.
Okay.
So
And
so
especially with kids involved too. It's just
when you
like,
got kids involved, like it's like, you know, you got kids, house. Like the deeper you go, the more intertwined you go, right? So it's like, if I got a problem with something in my mind, or she got a problem with something in her mind, is either she helped me figure out what's in my mind and help me grow. I help her figure out what's in her mind and help her grow. We figure out what's in each other's mind and help each other grow, and then we become at peace.
Right.
Most people still have on masks, and they're not willing to let the other person in to see the real them.
Yeah.
That image that we talked about earlier, right?
Right.
And I believe that, you know, like, I'm milk out here, right, to the world. But when I'm home, I'm a big baby to my wife. I'm just, you know what I mean? So it's just what it is, you know what I mean? Like, and when I say big baby, not on some man shit, not on no, you know what I mean? but the thing is, like, I think everybody needs a place where as though they could be vulnerable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and that's just what it is.
I don't think you could be in a marriage and you're still fighting to be the individual.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
mean, if you are blending your life with
It's a
somebody,
union.
it's just like, you know, hey, we're together. You're not just you anymore. You're us.
Right.
So that's a big part of it.
definitely.
Like he told me that this is the first time ever that he's put his logo with someone else. It's like, you know, I'm Alan Poe Productions and that's it. And
Right.
then, you know, I'm just like, yeah, but I got a business too. And if we're gonna work this together, then it's gonna be, you know, LadyVeeDaPoet event production, and you are Alan Poe Productions Entertainment Music Group. This is gonna have to be a unit together.
Most
It's
definitely.
not just this. It's this.
Right. It's not just that. It's just not his old label with it. Just him. It's the joint.
Yeah.
Everything is for one pot. Yeah.
Everything.
Is there anything I didn't ask y'all that y'all think? Why didn't he ask me this?
No?
I could ask you this one question. I'll be asking people with it.
Yeah.
It might be the next 20 minutes for y'all.
Like what time is it?
All right. This is what
Drop it, man.
all right. This is the first thing I'm gonna do before I go into that.
Yeah.
Drop all y'all social media information.
Okay, well, you can find our event space here on Instagram at Art Out Loud ATL. You can find him at Alan Poe, and you can see how you spell Poe, P-O-U-G-H.
Yeah.
Like some people are like P-O, and that's it. Like no,
No,
Alan Poe.
Don't do that, yeah.
You can find me on Instagram also at LadyVeeDaPoet or at LadyVee Productions. Our website is artoutloudatl.weebly.com, and everything on Facebook and I mean pretty much is LadyVee Productions. Or
tell them about your books and tell them about your shows too. What days of the week your shows is, so they can know how to come see you too.
yes, when we come back together. But you can find all the books on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon.com and type in Ink Blots on I-20 or type in LadyVeeDaPoet, it'll come up all my books. Even the Still Fabulous book is on Amazon.com. So that's like their website platform to sell my books at. And Do You Lyric Lounge actually has an Instagram page at Do You Lyric Lounge. And we have virtual open mics on Facebook. Our last Facebook open mic had like 800 views. So I'm just like, wow, 800 people can't fit in here or at Hodgepodge, but those probably were people all around the world watching. So that was awesome.
That was a great thing.
We're planning June right now. I don't really know the specific dates we're going to be doing the virtual open mics, but definitely Art Out Loud at Art Out Loud ATL on Instagram will have a virtual open mic in June, and Do You Lyric Lounge will have a Facebook open mic in June. And whenever Hodgepodge decides to open again, they're looking at the safety of people. They're making sure that nobody's going to go into Hodgepodge and get sick, because that is that's something that you'd have to deal. Like, I went to your show when I got COVID-19. Like, no, we don't want that. No one to say that.
Man, let them know about Sunday
Tomorrow, actually.
Sundays,
yes, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a brand new at LadyVeeDaPoet Instagram live show called Industry Influencer Interview. And once again, it's like, I take people doing positive things in their industry, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a musician, whether you're a hip-hop artist or whatever, and we make sure that we put the spotlight on you so the world can see what you're doing. It's like we see negative news all the time and all this stuff going on, and it's filtering our brains with like all people know how to do is be negative. So I'm taking this opportunity to say these people are doing great things in the community. These people are, opening people's eyes to a positive forward direction. So tomorrow and every Sunday at 4 o'clock on at LadyVeeDaPoet is the Industry Influencer Interview, and tomorrow is with Ant Demand. Ant Demand just came out with a brand new video. What's it called?
Ain't that cool?
He has a song called "Is That Cool," and that's one of his favorite songs.
He has two of them that he's trying to push. So
he also does photography. He does videography. He's working with so many people. So I like to interview like multi-talented artists. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I'm interviewing Ant Demand and trying to get in his head about all the wonderful things he's doing.
Yeah. So as for me, let's you can. On all digital platforms, you can put in Alan Poe, the Musical Consciousness album, as well as the Q&A project, as well as anything. Just put my name in. Put my name in the search. Everything that I'm doing or currently doing will show up. And you can catch us Wednesday at the Live on the Beat Lab show. That's once a month, every third month.
Yes, every other Wednesday, but definitely we promote it to make sure you know what day it's on. But Live from the Beat Lab is news that indie artists can use. We always take tips to help you enhance your artistry, and we always have performances and stuff.
Performances, so it's like and even on top of that, sometimes I play live music. Sometimes I'm on the beat machine and making something live for the people to tune into. One thing about that, like we say during the show, we started off as maybe 50 people, then we jumped up to 100, 200. So every time we get on, we're clearing at least 700, 800 people to watch, as well as people donate through the Cashapp and then ordering T-shirts and face masks and stuff like that. So
we even have customized face masks. It's like we wouldn't think that you would have to do that. But
and then the number one thing that I want to tell everybody is, like, if you see the logo, that means that we're involved in it. If it's being a sponsor to something, if it's something that we're spearheading. But if the logo is very important. Sometimes you might not even see our names in the caption, but if you see that, like, okay, that's LadyVee or that's CEO. one of them is involved with that project, and you already know our character of work and the work that we do. So,
and that's, I mean, not to mention any names, but there have been some artists that put out work, and we've definitely promoted them or we've contributed to their artwork or whatever, and they leave the logo off.
yeah.
And that really offends me because the work that we put in there, if you don't type our names in it, you could at least put a picture of our business
Yeah,
on
that's
there
bad
or
business.
something.
That's bad business on that end.
The logo definitely. I might get a tattoo. Tattoo with it
For
on.
That'd
years, I've
be
wanted
dope.
that on my arm, but I've been too scared. So
Yeah,
maybe
it's-
on my 50th birthday, I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I wear the the logo, and even I don't have my shirt on today, but normally I have it on when we do big exclusive interviews. But the logo means a lot to me. Just like if you hungry and you went to the McDonald's things and you see the golden arches from the highway,
that's what it is.
food is near. So, so that's how I look at it too. So the logo is really important.
The golden arches of music production.
That's cheesy. You
Yeah,
thought of that?
that
You
is.
know Eddie said that on camera? Oh man, the golden arches of music.
At least I wasn't like,
I control the sound.
right.
All right, the last question I have for both of y'all is this.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Oh man.
Where will the world be 10 years from
Wow.
now?
Talking
the real
about,
question.
like, wow, okay, I'm alive.
No, just music, just
I-
creatively.
All right.
Creatively.
I see myself, my lovely wife here, happy, successful and happy in anything and everything that we're doing. People think fortune and fame and everything like that, but I'd rather be happy and be content with myself and the things that I'm doing. So whatever it is, if it's music, if it's videos, if it's shows, if it's poetry, whatever, I know that we're going to give it our 100%, 120% to make sure that whatever we do is up to standards and we're happy doing it. So.
I mean, 10 years from now, you always say it depends on where the world is, because every day it's just kind of like, what's going on now? What's going on now? But, if you stay focused and you're like, you trust in the path that the higher power has for you, you know that where you're at now, he's going to be there also. So it's just like, we already have this event space. I see it growing into, and I can't, in my mind, I can't promote small. If you tell me that if I can only have 10 people at a show, I don't really want to do an in-person show with just 10 folks sitting up in here. So it's just kind of like, in 10 years, I want the world to be better. I pray that, we can come together and feel safe. And I feel like, at this point, it's the way that we are now is changing people's minds about, I don't even want to leave my house anymore. Wow. And as an event promoter, as an event producer, that's a scary thing, because you're thinking like, man, my whole career is bringing people together. I hate the fact that, we have meetup.com and everybody is on there like, oh gosh, I have to be on the computer for the rest of my life. Like, we're trying to get you out of your house. Right. So in 10 years, I hope the world is better, and I hope that, career-wise and creativity-wise, I'm staying true to the gift that God placed in me. Just be like, where do you want me to go? Maybe I should, be less hands-on and just be like, hey, you run this business. Where do you want me to take this in 10 years?
I feel like
that'll work.
Like, we agree on that?
Social distance.
There we go. Elbow.
Do you want to close out with a poem, or you good?
Should I close out with a poem, Alan Poe?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mentioned the Cinderella poem, so I guess I can do Cinderella Speaks Out.
All right, you can have the whole thing to yourself.
Like, you can sit here. Good.
All right.
I haven't done it in a while, so if I screw up on this.
No, if you screw up, we cut it.
Okay. They locked me away. My wicked stepsisters deemed me unworthy and sentenced me to solitary confinement. I was trapped under the floorboards in the basement, beneath their feet. For years I felt I belonged there. Their jealousy A boiling cauldron of hate stirred by my stepmother's careful prodding. No one was to ever know I existed. I had a roof over my head, and any complaints from anyone other than the dust mites that collected in the corridors would make me ungrateful and subject to punishment. Them haters never saw it coming. I cooked for them, cleaned their home. I was their beck and call maid with calluses on my overwashed dishpan hands to tell my story. That's all they allowed me to be. Little did they know that those dark hours down in a basement do wonders to spark the imagination. I could have rebelled. I could have let my Fantasia dancing broomsticks, mice, dustpans, and such haunt their living nightmares and cause constant internal insanity, but I resisted. I am a lady. There's no need to upset the hands that feed you. Oh, the bibbidi-bobbidi-boo of my wishful thinking. Fairy godmother, where were you when I first moved into this horrible situation? Now you want to show up popping pumpkins into carriages, my Walmart dress into Saks Fifth Avenue and giving me glass slippers just so some prince with a variety of dolled up options can find me attractive all of a sudden? No thank you. If my Prince Charming can't love me with dirt under my nails for all my hard labor, rags on my back from frugal yet honest living, and worn down shoes from taking care of a household completely by myself, what the hell good is he anyway? Why would I want to tiptoe around his ass in dainty glass slippers, afraid that everything I do and say wrong will be an excuse to pack your bags and send yourself packing? Keep your horses, keep your pumpkins, and keep them damn shoes away from me. I want to stand in the lineup of my competition and be chosen without the magic. No smoke and mirrors required for the realness residing here. My name is Cinderella, born from the dust of struck matches and blazing fire. I've worked hard for the life I've acquired. Now I'm busting through the floor to take back the sunlight that was stolen. And my entrapment, the contacts I've made will empower my march to freedom. I've slept soundly with the purple pills provided by Sleeping Beauty. The 7 dwarfs have wired me cash. Tinkerbell has loaned me her wings, and Snow White read me my future in a big, bright looking glass. So Prince Charming, if you're still out there cross-dressing with my other shoe, I demand you give it back. Thank you.
Yeah, this milk. We killing ignorance one conversation at a time.